Hey y'all, this is Jay Narf. I'm 27 years old, living in Chatham, Ontario. In this video, I will be talking about my childhood and what I've been through. I suffer severely from PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Having this has affected my life tremendously. It's the hardest thing someone goes through to a day-to-day basics. It's something you can't shut off. It's something that just doesn't go away. In my experience, it's gotten worse as I'm an adult. I have nightmares. I have trust issues. I'm scared of the dark. I'm pretty broken. I'm pretty messed up. I've been through a lot, as you will learn from me explaining my childhood. Through my childhood, I have seen many doctors. I mean, tons of doctors. And honestly, they have every single one of them have given up on me. It's not the easiest for someone to give up on you constantly. It makes you feel like no one can fix you. It makes you feel unwanted, that you're not enough for someone to, help you along the road to actually not be this bad in PTSD. So I am a little nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I've never done this. As I said before, I have seen many doctors and I've done programs, I've done a step program, I've done all of that, and honestly none of it has helped. They all didn't go fully through with the program. They put me on a bunch of medicine and honestly it did nothing. And they all walked out on me. And in my story you will learn that not only did doctors walk out on me, but so did the two people that made me. So this is really hard for me to even talk about. So I'm hoping this video will help me feel a little bit better, actually having other people hear what I've been through, maybe get some positive responses. I know I'm going to get some negativity. It's bound to happen. I just hope I get more positive than negativity. Again, I'm sorry if I slur my words, if I say words wrong, or if my voice starts getting shaky. This is the hardest thing I think I've ever had to do, and everything in this is 100% the truth. I've been through it, went through it, I'm dealing with it. I'll be dealing with it for the rest of my life. So fasten your seatbelts, and here goes nothing. I'm gonna have to put the phone down so I can read it. This is a report my fiance did on me for a college program that she was in last semester. So this is her words and me telling her what I've been through. So here goes nothing. This is a true story and quotes from my fiance about his childhood and what caused his severe PTSD. All names are given. Jay was born on December 12th, 1990, to Tammy and Marshall, and was instantly called a mistake. Jay was born female, but had the mind and mannerisms of a male. He's a trans male, female to male. From the very beginning of his life, they made him believe he was a mistake and should have never happened, so much as that Marshall left and denies that Jay is his son. Tammy started dating a man named Larry. When Jay was 3 years old, I questioned Jay about his life up until this point before Larry about it being a norm for a baby/toddler. And in his response was not shocking to me. He replied with, I wouldn't call it normal at all. Tammy was always out drinking or doing drugs in the apartment, and she'd just leave leave me on the table and do lines of coke around me. She'd bring random guys around and have sex with them in front of me. When Tammy officially started dating Larry in the summer of 1993, Jay's life completely did a 360 for the worse. And you'd think it couldn't get worse. Wrong. All the abuse started when he moved in 2 weeks after they started to get to know each other. Tammy and Larry, have their friends over and do drugs in front of me. When Larry would bath me, he would touch me in certain areas. When they would go out, they would leave me with their sketchy drug friends. From the baths, I'd have marks down there from what Larry had did. The abuse escalated from touching in the bathtub to more severe touching and beatings. The older he got, the more Larry could do to him. Around the age of 5, Larry started hitting Jay more with belts and being extremely abusive with Tammy's assistance. Age 7, we lived on Sandy Street. My room was in the basement and I had nothing down there, just a cement floor. There was a lock on the door and they controlled when I could and couldn't leave. Larry would force feed alcohol to Jay as a way for him not to remember anything that was going to happen. Larry would wait for his male friends to come over to watch him sexually abuse Jay. Tammy would be in the room while all this was happening and never stopped it. She'd just sit there and do her drugs. Sometimes she'd help him by holding me down, and after they were done with me, they would throw me back into the basement, covered in blood from the waist down. The louder I screamed, the more enjoyment they got out of it. He was raped in both areas, vaginally and rectally, by Larry himself, his friends, and intimate objects. He was locked in the basement here and there, but was let out periodically, so it didn't look suspicious. The constant raping and molesting got worse up to the age of 9. Age 9, we lived in Trillium Village, and I was locked in the basement for 4 months. CAS got involved because I missed a month and a half of school, and the school called because they were concerned. Tammy and Larry said that I was sick and had health issues. I was not able to leave the basement at all for 4 months. I couldn't shower, use the toilet. I just went in the corner, and there was black mold all over the basement from the moisture. Larry would feed me moldy bread and just chuck it down the stairs for me to eat. He pushed me down the stairs when I tried to escape on Halloween, and I broke 2 ribs. At the hospital, I had to lie and tell them I fell off my bike. And I did that because I was terrified. Larry was not a good man, I'll tell you that right now. When CAS got involved, they showed up at the door and Tammy and Larry panicked because there was nothing in the bedroom that I was in the basement, and they wouldn't let CAS in without a warrant. At this time, they bought him a mattress, dresser, and a light for the basement. CAS questioned why Jay was so skinny and questioned him personally in a room for 2 hours. When CAS questioned him, Jay shut down and lied through the entire investigation because he knew there would be consequences from Larry, which Larry made very clear to Jay. CAS tried feeding Jay real food from Krabby Joe's, and Jay puked it right back up in the restaurant because he hadn't eaten real food in the last 6 or 7 months. CAS brought Jay back to the apartment and left the case open because it was the first time that they had been called to the location. CAS closed the case on the Friday. The Monday he went to school, he wasn't feeling good and asked the teacher if he could go to the bathroom. and Jay vomited / passed out. The school had to call the ambulance. The school tried calling Tammy and Larry with no luck, so they called his grandparents, who met him at the hospital. Jay almost died that day. CAS made Tammy and Larry do a parenting course, and they got Jay back. When they got him back, it was all hell, because they thought he had told CAS what had happened, but he didn't. Everything he had happened to him prior was 10 times worse. They kept asking Jay what... They kept asking me what I told CAS, and I kept saying I told them nothing because I didn't. But CAS wouldn't tell them anything. And that's when Larry held me to the floor and struck me in the face. CAS was going to come by every 2 to 3 months to see how I was doing. Larry did not approve of this. Jay got all his furniture that was in the basement taken away and put into the spare bedroom upstairs. Age 10, I got stabbed in the stomach with a knife because I wasn't obeying him. I've still got the scar from the day. He would hold my hands behind my back and rape me. He destroyed my rectum. The louder I screamed, the harder he would go. Blood went everywhere, and I felt a lot of tears. And I'm still messed up down there, even till today. After he was done, he would just push me back down the stairs. In the summer of his 10th birthday, at Mitchell's Bay, Larry tried drowning Jay in the water. He is petrified of going under the water, even to this day. On his 11th birthday, Larry had all his friends over, and they repeatedly raped him for over 2 hours. Larry would use objects to rape Jay, and he also stabbed right through Jay's hand to the table so he couldn't move. I have the scar still to this day as a reminder of what happened. It never leaves my mind. This kept recurring till he was 15 when Tammy left Larry. Fast forward to 2017 and 2018, when I've known him, his PTSD moments are very prevalent. He has extreme issues with basements, and he doesn't sleep unless I'm with him. If you turn the lights off in a room and shut the door with him being still in there, he shuts down, as in standing there trembling and speechless. He has moments where he is very overwhelmed and just shuts everyone out, including myself. Up till meeting me, he didn't know what having someone care about him was like. He still doesn't know how to take being loved and shown compassion some days. He has a lot of health issues, from heart defect and a collapsed lung that Tammy never allowed him to get treated for. Jay also struggles with aggressive suicidal thoughts, which I help him cope with. He's also severely allergic to mold now. Even though some moments can be overwhelming and frustrating between us from his PTSD flashbacks, it's all worth it, and I wouldn't give him up for anything. So, as you can see, I have an amazing fiance who stands by me through this. I'm not the easiest person. I'm pretty broken. As I said, this isn't the easiest thing that I've had to talk about. I did mess up some words as reading this. I told myself I wouldn't break down, but I mean, it's not easy. And I know people deal with things every day. No one has it easy. I guess my biggest fear is knowing what people are going to think of me when I post this. How I'm going to get judged. When I dealt with all this, and I went to school, I didn't have it easy at school either. I had teachers look down at me. I got bullied. I got treated real bad. And then I had to go home to the same thing. I didn't have friends growing up. I had a few odds here and there that, you know, I don't know if they were really my friends or not, but they were there. But yeah, this is my childhood. Did not have it easy. So, that's my story. Thank you for taking the time to hear it, listen to it. It means a lot. Thank you.